Coming in with something funky today. First things first, happy Father's Day. A bit late. For that, I do apologize. But I think we're going to have a good show, even if it will be short. Just going to wait for some folks to jump in. It'd be awesome to have you guys here on Father's Day. Special heads up to those of you guys driving. I guess heads up not the right word, but you know what I mean. Nathan Eberly. Hello, hello, sir. First in. Certainly an interesting choice of music. Set up a few things here, get us rolling. I don't think Alex will be joining us today. We're going to go ahead and get rid of some of his stuff here. And when we're discussing stuff. Hey, a few more viewers. Thank you so much. Those of you guys who missed. Hey, first things first, happy Father's Day. Certainly fathers in today's world do not get enough credit. And you got to give credit where it's due. Let's take a look here. Hopefully not many of you guys are driving. Many of you guys hopefully have been able to get some time off and enjoy your time with friends, family, some barbecue, some good time off, maybe a beer or two if you enjoy, if that's something you liked. Let's go ahead and do a couple things here. What did I just do? I think I just broke it. There we go. I apologize, guys, starting late, but I thought I'd throw in some funky music. Let's see here. Give me a moment to put this together. I don't think Alex will be joining us here today, so I'm going to be getting rid of a few different things, different parts of the screen. I'm going to leave this here in the background. How's everybody doing? Hello again to Nathan. How's everybody doing? You guys driving? You guys parked? Doing your reset? Working hard? Trying to get those miles in? Getting ready for a Monday delivery? Hope everybody's doing very, very well. It's a good day here in Salt Lake City, Utah as well. Where are you guys at? Looks like not a lot of viewers today, but hopefully it'll pick up. This might not be the topic that too many people are interested in, but I think it's an important topic, and especially on Father's Day. It actually came last minute. I thought I'd wanted to talk to you guys about that. Oh, I guess I forgot to put the thumbnail. So maybe I should have done that. I made a mistake on that. Here, I'll tell you what. I'm going to stop the video, or I don't know, maybe I can change it. Here, let's see. Am I able to change it? Because the thumbnail is a big part of... I've never seen this. Okay, look at that. Beautiful. I wonder if we can make some changes here. I've never seen this dashboard. Very cool. Look at that. We're all learning together. Excellent. Stream settings. Is there a way to... I was in such a hurry that I had forgotten the thumbnail. Let's see. It's got to be here. Here we go. Upload thumbnail. Generational. There we go. Look at that. Problem solved. Didn't know you could do that. Fantastic. Hopefully that takes care of it for us. Alrighty, guys. So today I want to talk to you guys about generational trucking and what I mean by that. Let me pop the image here. Boom. So make it a lot easier. So this is what we want to talk about today. Okay. Generational trucking. We might touch on a few things, like for example, and this is part of the generational trucking, is that costs are going up. Costs are certainly going up. You might have seen in the news UCR costs went up. Now, nothing write home about, considering that for most of you guys, operating, up to 2 trucks, 2 trucks. The majority of the folks that we work with, you guys would only see an increase, a total increase of about $9. But companies that have over 1,000 trucks are going to actually see a $9,000 additional increase, right? So they're increasing it, and then on a cost basis, it's actually a 25% increase in cost for UCR. So again, not a big deal considering you're only paying like $50 or whatnot. So now you might pay $60 or something like that, right? For a couple of trucks. So that's kind of where the issues lie for a lot of folks. When I talk to them, they're talking about, what, I really want to build a business. I want to leave this for my kids. We've had some customers who actually were doing quite well, setting up kind of a legacy. In fact, if I remember, I think legacy was part of their name, and they were trying to set up, a business with generational legacy, generational wealth, to leave something for their kids. Some folks said, hey, I don't want my kids anywhere near trucking. I don't want them anywhere near logistics or transportation industry. And I understand that. I mean, a lot of people feel differently about this topic. Some folks say, hey, listen, I ended up in this situation because I didn't do this, and, X, Y, and Z. And so I ended up being a truck driver. A lot of folks became a truck driver because, and there's plenty of surveys, and we even made videos about this. They became truck drivers because, their father was and their grandfather, their uncles, they grew up in that, and they were looking forward to it. I had when we were first starting out our Instagram account a few years back, one of the guys that I was talking to, and he was constantly very active on our channel, was a guy who was just, everything on his channel was about trucking, and he played the trucking games, and that kind of made me wonder. That turned out to be, he was a young kid. He was just super excited, and he was watching all our videos and commenting and being really, really active. And the reason for it is he couldn't wait to become a truck driver. I mean, he really wanted to become a truck driver. He's driven them before illegally, but not like going out and making deliveries, and he just couldn't wait. And in the meantime, he was playing truck driving simulation games, like simulators and stuff. So, there's definitely different guys who really want to do it, and then there's guys who just, they don't care. Oh, wrong one. Maybe. There you go. And remember, guys, you guys can always give us a call back. Call us here live, 801-448-6363. Hit extension 3. It'll come to me. We'll get you live on the show. Just make sure to mute if you're watching it somewhere, just mute that source so you don't get feedback and echo. So it doesn't look like we're going to have a lot of viewers today, and I was planning on making a shorter video. But really, guys, what I want to talk to you guys about is this, besides the Happy Father's Day, which is a big, big deal, especially in America with fatherlessness being completely rampant across the board in all sorts of different categories, in all sorts of different divides. And there's a lot more that can be said on that topic, but obviously this is not the channel nor the place or time, right? So but what I'm trying to get across, I'm sure you guys are fully aware. At the end of the day, no matter how society treats men, fathers, or how those views change, from our own selves, because we are also molding and changing and whether evolving or devolving, right? It's all up to us. But at the end of the day, most will agree that they want to do some sort of a generational wealth. They want to be able to build a company that they can pass on to their kids, that they can teach their kids, show them the ropes and do all those types of things. Nathan's saying, me and my brother got into trucking because of my dad and uncle, and neither one of us wants our kids near a truck. Perfect example. Thank you for sharing that, Nathan. That drives the point home. Exactly. In this scenario, what I was looking at is more of, what does it really look like in the future? Say diesel is out of the picture. Okay. Say trucking really changes and becomes fully automated, or semi-automated, right? Where maybe there is a guy with a joystick just controlling a bunch of trucks. Just my same situation, a couple of monitors, some big screens, things like that. And, you're controlling multiple trucks, switching between equipment. We already saw a fantastic example by Caterpillar on their construction equipment, things like that, loaders and all sorts of stuff. And he was switching around different equipment. So that is a possibility. They already have different sorts of equipment. Mr. Wayne Woody, you made it to the show, sir. So good to see your name, man. It's a career that, as you progress through in it, you have to adapt to whatever unfolds in front of you, whether it's bad and whether it's bad or when you When you got it right, nothing is nothing better. 100%. And I know Mr. Woody Wayne. I know him quite well here. We've worked for some time. Thank you, Wayne. He's absolutely right. You really have to, kind of roll with the punches. You have to figure out ways, and that's how it is with business, but with trucking especially. And you have to figure things out. And Wayne's been in this industry for a long time. I imagine Wayne's going to be fully retiring probably in the next. I would imagine Wayne is probably in his mind is never going to retire, and probably never will retire. I think he's always going to be active. But I think eventually, your next 10 years or so, you're probably definitely going to step out. But what it is he's been in the industry for a long time. He's been in the industry longer than some of our viewers have been around, alive. So he knows a thing or two about this, and that's what he's saying. That, but if you get it right, there's nothing better. And that's the truth about it. Like the way this guy was operating, I remember. I mean, he could probably, fix just about anything with, a sock and some cables and ties and stuff like that, and get the truck back on the road and get the clutch working in the middle of the Mojave Desert or something. I don't know. That Wayne's something else. He could tell that his truck's not working right, and what exactly is not working right just from the sound and feel of it. That's trucking. But and it actually brings us to another point. Will the new truckers understand that? Like you got the new cars, for example, they're all covered in plastic and sound insulation, all this over-engineered stuff, especially like German engineering, it's European vehicles, things like that, right? So same thing with trucks. As we start to move away from that, as for example, let's say dispatch services, my business, let's say our days are numbered, and we go out of business because everything's done algorithmically. Computers will argue. Computers will use vast data sets, and they will be able to make decisions to make profitable deals. And profitability will also change considerably because you're not going to have a driver that gets sick, that has hours of service regulations, that needs to, he's a biological creature, right? Needs to use the facilities, eat, sleep. There's issues, might have concerns, might have, needs to get paid. You don't have to pay a computer. That's going to change the entire structure of the operating costs, right? Say it is electric, say it's hydrogen electric, say we switch to some sort of a fuel cell operation. I mean, for all we know, they might get some sort of radiation leak-proof batteries that will run a truck for 20 years without having to refuel, right? There could be all sorts of things in the future that will not require a truck driver. But I guarantee you that even in the future, trucking will continue. Because you will still have to deliver freight. People will still eat. They still need medicine. They still need food, water. They still need construction materials and all those things. But the business might shift quite a bit because it just will not be truck drivers going out there, tying down, strapping down, tarping. We might not even have to close our own doors. You know what I mean? I think the next evolution will be, how do we load dry vans from the side? How do we load all trailers from, like, as if it's a flatbed, something like that? How do we automate some of these functions where we could just get rid of people and have full automation, But at the end of the day, you could still own, C Corp, S Corp, LLC, and still be running a profitable, quote unquote, trucking business. It just won't look anything like it does today. And that's where our thumbnail looks like that. I covered the faces. To be honest with you, the reason I covered the faces, if we're completely honest, because AI did a terrible job with making faces, and these were some of the most hideous people. But other than that, it did a fantastic job. That's a beautiful image. Almost looks like a real photo. So that's why I kept that and put the smileys on their faces. But reality is that you want to be able to get it to that point. And I would say if you are the type that's going to want to include your family, include your kids, and your boys, your girls into your business and bring them in, then be sure to get them to actually understand the value of that business, right? A lot of folks, there's statistics out there that business goes down by the second generation, goes out of business by the third, right? Something along those lines. Sometimes people are able to stretch it out further, but usually by the third generation, it's done. By the time you're gone, that's it. Most of the time, the business goes out, right? Belly up. And usually it's because the most difficult parts of the business are at the very beginning, right? So like in my business, we've been in a position trucking tendencies. Hey, I love that name. Thank you for stopping by. Happy Father's Day, guys. Again, I'm going to say that throughout the video so that whenever people join, they're going to hopefully catch that. Because I don't think, half of the Earth's population gets enough credit. That's all it is, right? So let today be the day where we just consistently give credit. Happy Father's Day to everyone, guys. The thing about it is interesting. If trucking completely switches gears and it switches over, you want to make sure that your kids are fully aware of what it takes. When we started our trucking business, we came very close several times of going completely out of business. We got to a point where we were, I believe we literally had less than $1,000 in our company checking account, and in business continuation basically. And at that time, we were running a box truck. Actually, that was the first truck. So we made it through that. So what are the chances that your next second gen, your kids actually going to have to go through the very same things? Now, they might have other issues on a bigger scale or stuff like that, but it's a different ball game. Like, for example, when you got bills to pay, you don't really have a lot of customers. You just lost a customer. You got the wrong equipment because the box truck. You have the least amount of knowledge. That's the most important thing because you're just starting out. Everything's more expensive than ever. It's going to get cheaper after your first year, et cetera, et cetera. Once you even hit your first year, insurance, everything. So you have a very steep learning curve. I don't see that being repeated in at latter stages in the business. Now you do have issues. You have, for example, like, oh my god, what do I do with tax liability? What do I do with my income? Hey, I've got losses on my insurance, right? Loss runs, and there's a bunch of money there. All kinds of stuff, right? Accidents, whole bunch of stuff. Hey, I hired an idiot driver. He crashed the truck. Maximize the insurance coverage, payout or something like that. Hit a bridge. Those are all issues, no doubt about it. It's not going to be, walk in a park later, but starting out's a different thing, man. When I was starting out, I kid you not, I know that people like to talk big and talk about, past glory, but I will, and it is true because I was younger and I had more energy and kind of a bit more driven and a different personality what I was 12 years ago than I am today. But when I was starting the business, I would routinely work 18-hour days. I would do that for 6 to 7 days. I would just go, and I wasn't getting tired because it was exciting. I was playing so many different roles, wearing so many different hats, and there was so much stuff that I had to figure out. And so that's where I realized that business development is what I really naturally enjoy. Once the business is up and running and everything and doing that, it's not that I lose interest, but I have to find ways to push myself to find new ways. How do I drive more traffic, more people? How do I improve the business? Where am I losing money? Start using better software, the other services, start working, with other people, things like that. So the business continues to grow. You cannot stagnate, but there's nothing like that feeling of starting a new trucking business or any sort of business. And some of the actions that you will take, some of the things that you will do during that period are going to be, some things that you just won't ever do again once you do them. And so you're only going to have that opportunity. So it's so super, super important because we're always running forward. Like, I can't wait till I make my $1 million and until I have drivers that are making me money and until I can replace myself with a manager or someone and I can go and just hang out and, drink coffee, whatever, you like to do. That's cool. But not really, because oftentimes it doesn't happen. Most of the time it doesn't happen. And the road to that is tedious, tiring, and very difficult. And so we have to be prepared for that. And so that's the reason why when I talk to people on the phone and, especially guys that'll contact me and say, can you tell me a little bit about this? Can you tell me a little bit about that? In terms of they're making a decision on whether or not they want to lease on as a lease on owner operator or whether or not they want to go in as a carrier and, establish their MC. Sometimes they already have an MC. It might be, let's say 90 days old, 6 months old, but usually not more than that. And we talk and we go into, in-depth conversations, and inevitably I always ask them, once they give me some, crucial information for me to kind of think about, I ask them, I said, well, ultimately, what's your goal? What are you trying to do with this company? Do you want to run one truck? You're going to be the driver, and you just want to run as efficient, as lean as possible. Make your money, make your schedule, be your own boss, of course. Come home when you need to, and manage that business. And that's and you don't have plans to have company drivers, to lease on owner ops, to try other sides of the business, or really get into it. You prefer, like, you enjoy the time on the road, driving. You enjoy that, my friend. Lease on instead of running yourself as a carrier. That's the honest truth. In fact, if you were trying to start a trucking company on the opposite end of that, and you're saying, look, man, here's my plan over the next 5 years based on, this pro forma, looking ahead, I feel that by the end of 5 years, I'm going to have, 10 trucks in my fleet. By 5 years, I will have stepped off, and that 10th truck, my truck, will go to the 10th driver. I will have hired this person and that, and these are the positions I will fill. These are the projections for my income, all of those things. And you've done that as a part of your business plan, and that's like, you're set on that. Cool. Awesome. Don't lease on. Open up an MC authority, bite the bullet, learn the freaking business, improve, find better ways to do things, ask questions, involve yourself fully in that. Compliance, safety, all the regulations, all the financials, billing and invoicing, negotiations, making relationships, doing all of it. The fuel cards, go with all the headaches when the fuel card company screws you over, when they don't give you the discount, when a factor screws you over. Everything that happens, handle it, all of it. It'll put some lines on your forehead. It'll tire you out, but it'll teach you like nothing else. If that's not the case, don't do it. And then there's a third option, right? It's not kind of an option, but it's just something to talk about. Let's say you're somebody who wanted to have those multiple drivers out there, and you're for sure you got to open up your own MC. Like, that's the end goal, that you got to open up your own MC. Let me tell you this: if you get yourself a really good leasing company that doesn't, overcharge and do all the stuff, and they have strong negotiation skills, and they have a strong connection, clean company that won't get screwed over, and brokers won't say, no, we're not going to work with you, your records are bad, or factors won't take loads or something like that. So, a nice, stable, small to medium-sized company that'll take care of you, and they're not too big where they're going to take advantage and you're just a number. Find something that'll fit for you, be a good fit. James West, hello from Orange County. Hello. Looks like Irie is saying, as soon as I can, I'm buying a Tesla. Then self-driving happens, I'm still making money then. Exactly. So there you go. And so that was one of the things. We almost bought we wanted to buy, not almost bought. We wanted to buy a Tesla, but we were only going to use it for local. And so for that, it made sense. I ran the numbers, everything. It made sense, but we missed out. And honestly, with some of the information that has been coming out with the early releases of the Tesla truck, not very impressive. And we could have still made it work, but I think I'll just wait. It's kind of like buying the first model year of a pickup truck. Usually people say stay away from that. Let them, kind of iron out the kinks, all the little tech bugs and all the other stuff in there. Like right now, Toyota's having issues with their new twin turbo V6s that they're putting in the Tundras, and there's issues with the I think it was the main bearing or the rear seal or something like that. Major issues. They're pulling a lot of trucks back and going to be making repairs and all this other stuff. So, that's why they say stay away from that. So, for a short little while until capacitance it doesn't come up, I'm probably not going to move on that. But as soon as I have the right opportunity to make sense, I will. But like we were saying, you really want to make sure you pick the right opportunity. And if you're in a spot where it's a leasing company, they charge good and you're making good money and everything's fine, but you ultimately want to go and lease on, what I would suggest doing is the following. Still lease on, because that first year you're going to actually make more money with the trucking company leased on, as long as all the boxes are checked off. And although you will pay a higher percentage to the company as part of their profit margins, besides the fees and all the stuff, because they're taking you on that liability of putting you under their MC authority, their insurance umbrella. So they're taking on quite a bit. But you want to make sure do your due diligence, make sure everything else is good on their side. They're not just full of it. So do your homework. But your first year is actually gonna, if you have all those things in place, your first year is gonna actually be more profitable and better for you than if you were in your own MC. However, at some point, you're going to have to still bite the bullet, right? So what I would say is do the following. Open up your own MC, put the lowest insurance minimums on it, the federally mandated required insurance minimums. Start aging your MC. That's not going to be end all be all, but make money with your leasing company. Set that money aside. Get all your ducks in a row. Get that MC activated. Get all your permits, all your factoring, fuel, all the auxiliary services. Make sure everything's taken care of. Blah 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 blah. The company that you're leased onto, make sure they allow you to bring your own plates, so that way you can actually pay your IRP fees, get your own cab cards, and when the time comes, then you can just switch over and have your dispatcher dispatch. Well, that's not going to probably happen because you need to go to dispatch service. But in any case, take those plates and take them over to your trucking company. Suddenly, that's fine. You can take care of that. That way, there's another benefit to that. And by the way, A2C Logistics allows you to do that. You can bring your own plates. But nonetheless, the benefit of that is, like, let's say you did all your homework, everything was cool, but then you switched over and you've been working for a little while. You paid for your for a year of your plates with the leasing company. And, it's just not happening. You've been there for like 3 months and it's just like everything they promised is just not happening. And you're like, man, I gotta go to another company. Well, you just paid thousands of dollars, like $2,000-$3,000 for your plates. Now what? Well, if you brought your own plates, you could have just taken them somewhere else. That's one of the reasons why a lot of companies, they just simply do not allow you to do that, because they want to keep you captive and tied for some time. With the company for at least the years, they can milk you for a little bit longer. A few comments there. Then Mac Ventura is awesome. Some little problems, but a great truck. So I know what you're talking about. So there's actually a lot of these companies, like the X15 motor that they're producing. They're going to be sticking that also in several other trucks. I think it was like International or Peterbilt. I think they're doing that with the X15, but it's like X15 something. It's going to be like a hydrogen electric fuel cell vehicle. Very impressive, very cool stuff. I really liked. Was it Daimler? I think it was, that was pushing the natural gas one. Very impressive numbers. The torque curve, very very similar to a diesel, and got better fuel economy. The hydrogen one that they're pushing with Nikola, impressive. Like over, I think it was like 9.1 miles per gallon was the equivalent. So I think that's what it was. We made a video about it. I forgot the numbers, but I can pull it up if we need to. So yeah, definitely. We just got to wait. It's improving. It's moving forward. And it's kind of scary because on the one hand, we have to make sure that people are buying those trucks in order for prices to come down, so they have to make it into the market. On the other hand, if they're not performing, not even close, or at least doing it on a smaller scale, then people are just going to turn away from that. And they're going to say, I'm not, throwing away this money. It's just too expensive at this time. Yeah, the pricing seems to be approachable. When you actually look at the numbers, the total acquisition cost is upwards of 500% higher. So we're talking like, what, 5 times higher? That's ridiculous. It's $1 million truck ultimately. So it's very, 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 very difficult to do that. But yeah, the technology is right. It's moving forward, and it's so fun for me to watch the movement of fuel cells, hydrogen, specifically hydrogen, because just a few years ago, people were saying that, oh no, this is not the future, this is never going to happen. But guess what? Toyota Mirai, they've been working on that thing for like the last 15 years. Absolutely works. Other manufacturers, other companies. It's not about hybrids. It's more of a, or it's not about electric. It's more about the hybrid systems. It's just going to be a different, not gasoline electric, not diesel electric, maybe diesel electric, but mainly probably hydrogen electric. They just have to find a way to make it cheap, which is totally possible. It doesn't have to be expensive. The most difficult part is being able to compress it and store enough of it, because it's not the most efficient. So you need quite a bit of it, and that's too much to carry on board, so you have to compress it. And that's, that's a little scary. Or make it on demand. But for semi-trucks, it's very difficult to make that much on demand. You could do it for cars as supplemental, but anything over like a little 2-liter engine or something like that, it's very difficult to create enough for on demand that's more than supplemental. So for semi-trucks, probably not going to be a way to go. A few more comments in here. Matias Mazo saying, I'm one of the people that truly believes if a self-driver truck properly comes around, my company won't even wait to sign a check before laying all of us off. Get your money, get educated, and get out. Matthias, that is definitely, you're not the only one that believes that. In business, they're going to find whatever ways they can to cut out costs, to lower operating expenses, increase profitability, right? Well, you're a cost. Your truck's a cost. Diesel's a cost, right? So If it's going to be diesel trucks, you got to keep putting diesel. If insurance is insurance or whatnot, right? But if we can get rid of a truck driver, that's a whole salary. That's 60 grand we can keep and profit, right? Everything will eventually catch up. The trucks will become more expensive. They'll eat up a little margin there. The trailers, this, that, the technology, costs, repairs, charging, all this stuff will catch up. But these periods, they create, periods of unpredictability and instability in many cases where the markets and different industries get disrupted. And so your line of thinking, Matthias, is correct. Because if you're able to get in during a period like that, you're get out because you're probably going to get let go, or there's going to be definitely attrition, and companies are going to reduce the number of drivers that they're going to be having, like live human being drivers. So yeah, but what if you could buy a bunch of trucks, have them running all automated, you get all your numbers, calibrated, and imagine this, for kidding's sake. Let's say that your annual profit margin was 1%, but now you were able to get it to 2% without drivers. Suddenly you just doubled your income. Now, on big numbers, right? So let's say you're walking away with, for a company, let's say they're walking away with $150 million in pure profit annually, and that's their 1% because they're dealing with like billions. And then suddenly it's $300 billion, right? Or $1 million or whatever the profit might be. Of course they're going to do that. And if it's at the cost or the expense of cutting drivers, they're going to do everything they can to develop that technology as soon as possible, because they know that the long-term ramifications of that business is only going to be increased profitability. And that is capitalism. I love capitalism. I'm not against it, but I do believe that sometimes when the markets are the way that they are, the humanity leaves and it becomes pure business. And so we have to, not forget. I'm not saying like we should leave money on the table. I'm not saying that, but we need to also remember that the reason that trucking is because of drivers, not because of trucks. You know what I mean? Up until now, trucks couldn't drive themselves. You needed to have drivers. So that's the whole thing. So to go back and basically it's a slap in the face to get rid of the drivers themselves. It's ridiculous. But yeah, get your money, get educated, and get out. Matthias Mazo. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, sir. Irie says, I'm also impressed with the Edison diesel over electric for heavy hauling. He's also saying compressed hydrogen is a boom on wheels. So Irie, here's the thing. Hopefully, again, I'm saying your name right. Edison, absolutely fantastic. They themselves came out and said that this is not the application for OTR driving. It's not even an application for local stuff. That's the reason they're doing that. They need heavy equipment. They need something for short haul. They need something that's going to be able to carry, not break down. It's going to be able to like pull its weight, bad conditions, things like that. That's not an OTR truck. He did mention that. They have several videos at Edison, but very, very impressive nonetheless. Compressed hydrogen is a boom on wheels. What's interesting is that one of the first things that they talked about during the Nikola, their unveiling event of their Nikola 1 truck, now they have the Nikola 3, I believe, or tree or something like that. It's TRE is the way it's spelled. Nonetheless, one of the obviously questions that came up was safety. And Mr. Milton, Trevor Milton, at the time CEO, I think he might still be CEO, he said that the safest part of the truck, of that entire truck, was the hydrogen tank. Now, was that just a PR statement, or was that true? I don't know. I do know that, for example, if you make HHO or hydroxy gas in small amounts, it could be filled, and you throw a match in there, it won't even light on fire. But that's not compressed, so I don't know. But it's definitely going to be a concern. I would be very concerned about that. And plus, considering that several years back, Los Angeles saw their buses that they moved to compressed hydrogen, they blew up inside the hangars. So there was no cars, no one got hurt, no one, but massive damage. Ken F says, if the scams and double brokering programs could be solved, do you think AI will eventually replace many decisions now made by dispatchers? Ken, 1,000%, sir. So right now, number one, the federal government just allocated a very large dollar amount to fighting, not double brokering, but mainly like scams and fraud and things like that. That's been running rampant in the industry. So they're trying to cut that out. And by the way, we're already seeing with some of the folks that we're reaching over the phone that the FMCSA, the USDOT, has been cleaning out the safer database, all their databases, and we're actually seeing mistakes being filed with some decent customers, good customers, decent companies that are fairly clean and everything, and things are popping up, and they're getting things popping up that are affecting their ability to get loads from from brokers who they always work with. So I'm having a little hard time trying to word that. But basically, these guys should have never had any problem ever, getting a load. They never did. And all of a sudden, something's changed. And these are things that are happening because the FMCSA is making changes and cleaning it out. So, if you notice that, go check your account on Safer, your profile. So I do think that AI will eventually replace many decisions. I think that it's a lot easier for them to be able to actually make a setup where you just have automated, like you have your inventory levels, everything is live. You have all your stores, all the ordering, like just in time, the whole, just in time system that was brought to its knees during COVID, which is the reason why we had that whole issue in the first place. You take one box of cookies from a shelf, another one gets ordered right away. Walmart works that way so that they don't have to have like excess inventory for no reason at all. Only order when stuff needs to be ordered. And so that JIT system, just in time delivery, was good. It's good when things are good in the world, but it's really not good when things are not going good in the world. And pandemics happen and all kinds of instability. And right now we have a lot of instability out there in the world and around the United States. So the truth of the matter is that system that was so revolutionary and huge, it's going to expand and change further. Let me do this. It's going to expand and change further, and the reason for it is because it's going to get better. It's going all the stores, warehouses, like cold storage, if they're probably distribution centers, things like that. All sorts of organizations, companies, all of these things will become automated. It's going to run, man. It's going to be running together. They're going to know where it's going. There's going to be trucks coming in. Look at the ports. Some of these ports are so technologically advanced that there's like almost no one there. There's, some cameras. They're watching the stuff, and the trucks are driving. They're stopping for each other. They're getting loaded. They're taking the containers out. It's going to be the same thing on the road. It's going to be the same thing for local, regionals, for last mile, first mile, for all sorts of stuff. It's just going to be that way. That's how it's gonna run, and it's going to start with how it always started. Started with like electric bikes, then small cars, switched to SUVs, bigger and heavier pickup trucks like the Tesla truck. Then they started getting into, and I'm talking about, they've talked about semi trucks being electric. There's been some progress done. There's been some concept vehicles out there. There's been some things moving. That's true. But again, the bigger the item, the bigger the industry, the bigger the energy need, the slower that progress is going to be. And we're gonna see full autonomy first in cars, and then again other things. So it's gonna be a little while for semi trucks, but don't think it's gonna take 20 years. I don't even think it's gonna take 10 years. So the entire part of decision making that Ken is talking about here, eventually it will replace many of those decisions made by dispatchers, by humans, by people. Management, all of that will be replaced. There's this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Maybe I'll find it a little later. I'll show you. There's a show on Netflix, a bunch of short videos. They're like between a few minutes to like maybe 10 minutes, 20-minute videos. Very cool. And one of the shorts that they have, it's right on Netflix. I'll find it, show it to you guys. It talks about the Great Yogurt. You guys seen that one? Where humanity ends up being ruled by a thing of yogurt. And it just solves all the world's problems, and everybody's great. And then we forget to like be able to do things because yogurt's been taking care of everything. We have the best economy, the cleanest air, no obesity. All the problems have been solved. Eventually, the yogurt leaves because we just can't follow directions, and so the yogurt goes and to another planet and just flies away, and people are stuck like, but what now? We don't know anything. You know what I mean? So it's kind of going to go similarly. It's predictive programming. It probably won't be yogurt. Although some would agree that some people in our administration have yogurt for their brain. But it's an apolitical channel, guys. Let's take a look here. Irie saying, my long-term goal is to put a giga battery pack on a trailer pulled by a Tesla semi to be a power plant for disaster areas on demand. That's freaking cool, man. I haven't thought about that. Although, maybe this will help you. We had a video about it. There's a company, and you can look at it. You'll see a trailer. I forget the name of it. But they actually put a battery on the trailer. So they're revolutionizing the way trailers are running. And it gives you rear steering. It gives you way more torque. You're able to go up higher, grades. There's some really cool features. And then you can actually walk the trailer because it's fully automated. So when you disconnect it from the truck, so your bobtail pull away, you can actually walk the trailer by hand because the electric motor will run it. Really, really cool. Saves electricity, has regenerative braking, all sorts of cool stuff. Now imagine they start doing that. That type of stuff on trailers, that type of stuff on trucks, that type of approach to loading the equipment. Things like that. I mean, we might have robots walking around, opening doors, closing them, loading stuff, putting away. They don't get tired. They don't ask for anything. Maybe an oil change. That's about it. So there's that. But that's a cool idea, man. Be a power plant for disaster areas, and man, absolutely, man. That's awesome. What diesel manufacturer going to put out an electric/diesel hybrid? Range Rover has them across the pond. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that is across the pond, they do have a lot of different vehicles out there. I've been looking at a lot of interesting Japanese vehicles, just regular cars and trucks, SUVs, stuff like that, right? So they have a lot of stuff that never hit our market. There are certain vehicles that they claim do not pass our emissions when they actually produce less emissions. They do it because they know that if the American market got, like, for example, the Toyota's $10,000 pickup truck, that would basically destroy the entire pickup truck market in the United States. And they can't do that because that would be too disruptive, too destructive. So they say, doesn't qualify for safety. Not emissions, they did good, but it was safety. Well, that can be solved, right? We could put some more seat belts and comply with those regulations, but they don't do that. They could do that, but that would destroy the market, so they don't do it. Thank you so much, Irie. Thumbs up. Gregory's out in Denver. Certainly appreciate that, sir. Hopefully you're safe and got a load out of there, because Mondays are never fun coming out of Denver. Hopefully you got something taken care of. And you say my name, IR. Ooh, hold on, let's see. IRI. I'm going to stick with Irie, my friend. IRI. No, IRRI. Okay. I'm giving up. Ken and Sena, as an example, if you want to run tri-haul on the spot market, do you think AI will eventually determine your triangle and book your loads? It seems that RateView and Sonar sort of take us halfway there. So yeah, so RateView, I don't really take their information at all. The Sonar, very, very different, very informative, very useful, much better stuff, much more developed. RateView, I stay away is because the RateView, the algorithm's great, the technology's great. It's fed bad information and it spits out. Go, guys. Garbage in, garbage out. Doesn't matter if it's pretty. If you're putting crap in, don't expect anything beautiful. And that's what it is. Trucking tendencies, saying to Mr. Irie, it sounds legit. Awesome, guys. So yeah, absolutely. You got to make sure you got to make sure you get this thing taken care of. It would be really interesting to see where people will actually go with their companies. I know a lot of people are trying to exit the industry. They're trying to get out of the trucking industry. They're saying, "Hey, this is my last push." I got a friend of mine. He grew his trucking business very quickly over the last few years. Took advantage of the markets. Very, very hard worker and has a knack for getting very good drivers. Now, granted, he did have some good and bad drivers here and there, but he didn't have like really bad luck like I did because I guess I'm not very good at picking people for driving positions. So that's the reason why I stopped the idea of having company drivers. I don't want to deal with it. Adam, hey, good to see you, my friend. How you doing? I'm doing very, very well. Just doing a real quick live show here. We're talking about generational trucking and about getting the industry out, getting into the industry and getting your kids involved, getting if that's a goal of yours to build a company. What are the goals that you're trying to achieve? Are you looking to have a larger company? Are you looking to just have one truck, or maybe you're looking to be 100% owner operator fleet like A2C Logistics? There are other companies that we run that have strictly company drivers. There's different approaches, and some people don't want to deal with it. Like I initially thought that my growth strategy was to, start off. We got our box truck, got a customer, et cetera, upgraded. I drove that. My brother drove. Then we got a semi. And so the natural progression, then I got a second truck, drivers, all this other stuff. And I thought, okay, I'm going to grow this. I'm going to, fill those trucks, fill those contracts, get another truck, and slowly I will have a bunch of trucks that will run at a very high rate, running either local or government, or not government, but like contract freight, even if it's OTR, so that it can be consistent, and then I'll get this thing operating, with all my knowledge in business and tech knowledge, and I will do things better than other people, blah, 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 blah. That was the idea. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought maybe that's it. And guess what? It wasn't the technological things that stopped me. It wasn't finance. It wasn't the lack of freight availability. It wasn't the lack of know-how. It wasn't a laziness factor. Ultimately, I just realized I didn't want to deal with that. I had too much dealing with truck drivers, company drivers. I didn't, and other people deal with it, and it's fine. It's just I was hiring the wrong people, not bad people. I need to be careful there in the way. I was hiring the wrong people. I was the wrong type of a boss for them. Given enough time, given enough examples, giving enough life kind of slapping me around, we realized we don't want to deal with that. The only way that I'm going to get drivers at this point is going to be strictly local. Strictly local. That's the only way. I want to limit as many potential problems, possible problems. Not going to send people OTR, and I did that. I mean, we made a lot of money. We were running very efficiently. We had great drivers as well, and they weren't all bad. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to deal with it. Now, I know people, and I talk to people every day who they clearly state, hey, listen, I've got drivers. They don't have any problem. My problem is dispatching. I can't do it. I'm just not able to get those rates. Great. That's a perfect customer for us. We'll take care of that all day, man. We'll take care of all your paperwork, everything, insurance, package, blah, blah, blah. We'll get you paid through your factoring company, everything, right? Because you already have good drivers. They're already motivated. You have good equipment. You have a clean MC. You have a willingness to work, really, and you're just having that problem. Come on over. You're an awesome customer. That's great. But sometimes, that doesn't happen, right? And so some people, they want to do that. They want to grow their fleet. They want to do all these things. Many, 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 many years ago, when I actually dispatched hotshots for a period, we dispatched mainly semis, but I was actually taking hotshots in as well. We haven't done that in a long time. I had one gentleman. He was awesome. He was just starting out. When I started with him, his MC was brand new. And back then, new MCs could still get loaded. I mean, it was a problem, but you could still get loads. And we were able to do that on a brand new MC on a hotshot. You know what I mean? That's tough. But we kept him going. What I liked about this guy was that he'd take a load, thank you, boom, delivered. Here's your paperwork, nice and clean, usually early. Somehow managed to get people to unload them early. Very good business person. Always took care of everything. Everything was always good. I closed down that division. I actually shut down the company for a short period of time. I had some problems with one of my dispatchers who ran off with all my paying customers and things like that. So that wasn't cool. I had to take a break, right? But years went by. I lost track of that person. And then talking with someone years ago on a phone, trying to, basically talking to someone looking for dispatch services, they had mentioned an account. And that sounded really familiar. I asked for the screen name. I went on YouTube, popped that in, and guess what? That was the same guy, Mike. It was the same guy. And I looked at him, and I started to kind of go through his channel, and it grew a lot. And he actually went to hot shots and semi, and then he did oversized, overweight stuff, and he built a channel around it, and he hired drivers, and he had different. He continued with the hot shot stuff. He added some more other types of trucks, and he had some, like I said, heavy haulers. He grew. That guy, that's what he wanted. I don't really want that. You know what I mean? I know that like where my skill set is, where it lies, where can my time be better spent, and what can I maximize? Can I make a ton of money with one truck, whereas other people are saying, let me run a bunch of trucks and make a little bit? You know what I mean? Either way's fine, but you gotta know where you're trying to go with that. You gotta know. You can call me anything, not just not late to delivery. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I average a day early. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it really helps, It really helps if you're able to come in a little bit early. And it's okay if you take it easy, too. We had a gentleman we've talked to. He got set up. Unfortunately, we never ran together, but he's a great guy. He often shows up in our channel, and I hope he's doing well. One of the things that he liked to do, he had a reefer. He liked to take take his sweet time to do these runs, do shorter runs, make sure he's got time for, shower, shave, clean up, take his time, not run too much. Which is in reverse to how most people do it, right? Go, 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 right? So he didn't have to do that, and he took it easy. Well, guess what else we didn't have to do? We didn't have to tell that to the broker. All we had to do is say, look for the loads that we're going to have that extra day in there that nobody wants, because no one wants to sit in a reefer for an extra day, burning that fuel, running your hours of service. Nobody wants that. We use that against the broker and say, look, man, I'll get you a guy. Like, I'll talk to him, but you got to give me something to work with here. You got to give me some extra money. And because it's an extra day, man. What do you want me to do? This is what, and they get it. Once you get some agreements from them, you can hear it that they're nodding their head on the phone. Let me try it. No guarantees, but let me try it. I call my guy, hey, I got the perfect load for you. This is what it is. This is what it pays. Hold on a sec. I'm going to get you some more money. Okay. Keep the guy on there, play some music for him, tire him out, get back on the phone. He'll do it, but this is what I'm going to need. All right. And just you can go even over, you know what I mean? Because you can even go over to a point where you're not going to get that dollar amount. And then negotiate down. You could do that. Depends on the market. Every situation is going to be different, but you can use that to your advantage. Don't tell the broker that, hey, I got a slow driver that likes to take extra time. No, I got a guy who's been making a really good week, but if you're going to cost him an extra day of just sitting around and burning diesel, it's hot outside. This trailer's going to have to sit there with negative 10 degrees on a reefer, whatever. You got to pay me for that. Oftentimes they know the stuff, they just play stupid, or you got to sometimes let it go and let them get beat up a little bit in the market, and then call them back in let's say in 20 minutes. Call them back in half an hour if the load's still there, because someone's not going to take it, and say, look, dude, I'm here. You want to do this? More likely that they're going to actually come back to you. Now, you don't want to do that too much in a bad market, because even the crappiest loads get taken. So just be really careful. But as an example, that is what you can also do. Can an owner-operator join a part-time or seasonal recovery service? Can an owner-operator join a part-time or seasonal? So an owner-operator can do what they please. It just depends on a structure. Owner-operator is a very loaded term. There's probably 5 or 6 different types of references as to what an owner-operator is. So you just want to make sure and I'm also trying to understand what would be a part-time or, part-time owner-operator. There's probably no such thing. Now, are you allowed to do that? Sure thing. Are you going to cover your operating costs? Maybe, depends on your operating costs, but 9 out of 10 times, probably not. Seasonal recovery service, I honestly didn't know that recovery services had seasons. It's outside of my scope of knowledge, so I don't think I should even comment on that, to be honest, Adam. Irie says, if they don't unload me early, that just meant more time to bike with my dog. That's cool, man. So you got your dog. So hopefully you watched our last week's video, man. On Friday, we made a pet video. I knew right up front that it's not going to get a lot of views, but I wanted to cover that, man, because pets are a super important part of trucking for a lot of folks. We actually had a driver. We had a brand new truck that we got him. He had a really cool dog. Dog's passed by now. The driver he's no longer a driver. He's a software engineer now, killing it, making tons of money, doing excellent, doing lots of travel. But at the time, he drove with in the truck with him, and it was a small guy, but he was definitely hairy, shed a lot. We took forever to clean out the truck, get it, once they were done. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it, because the driver was amazing. The dog was cool. There was no issues. He didn't he didn't pee or poop anywhere, nothing like that. It's just just dog hair, and you can clean it up, and it's worth paying even an expensive service to go clean your truck, because it's all about your driver, man. That driver, he wouldn't come home for months. He would be out there. He was very independent. He was excellent. He was very smart. Never had any problems. The only regret I have with him is that I underpaid him, and that's hand on the heart. We underpaid him, and he's a really good friend. He lives in Washington now. I still communicate with him, and I actually need to pay him a visit. I think he's currently somewhere in Cambodia or something like that. So we have, it depends. And that's the driver actually we paid the least. It wasn't on purpose. It was just, hindsight's 2020. That man deserved a higher pay. So the fact that he had a dog, I like that dog. I was very, very happy with that. And if I got to spend $500 to get the truck cleaned out, that's fine. Yeah, so and that's awesome. Irie, you're also doing biking and your dog. What kind of dog do you got? Is it a large breed, small one? What do you got going on? Jerome Jones saying, do you guys work with owner operators who have a drive-in and like to take it slow? Don't mind multi-stop or hand-delivered loads. Like to stay in the Midwest, Southeast, Northeast. So Jerome, here's the thing. We can certainly take on owner operators. Like you're looking to lease on, it sounds like. So, and that's completely fine. We don't have an issue with that. We just want to make sure you're able to cover your operating costs, but you obviously want to be able to make money. So in that scenario, what I would do is talk with Kevin, run some numbers, look at some real possibilities in terms of like what are other drivers, or maybe he can find you some guys who are running very similarly. To begin with, this is not the market to do such things. This is not the market to, take it easy or to be picky about certain types of freight or certain types of markets or where and when you can run or how long you stay out. It's not a good idea. However, that doesn't mean you have to slave away out there and just, go out there and kill yourself on the road. There's absolutely no reason to do that, sir. So when you say, working with owner operators, you got your dry van. Absolutely. That's awesome. That'll save you money because you don't have to rent one or pay, additional fees, things like that. But you want to take it slow? No problem. Everyone's definition of slow is different. Like I said, we had a gentleman with the reefer who would take usually an extra day. For most people, that'd be unacceptable. But for us, you just have to take advantage of it, take the additional freight, the additional money for the lost days and things like that. And some brokers will give it to you because they realize that other guys don't want to do it. Now, it's quite sparse nowadays because nowadays just about anything will go. Under $1 freight will go and people take it, unfortunately. But it is possible. Multi-stoppers, we could run maybe if the weather allows in the fall. Sometimes they'll use vented vans for nurseries. Those are generally fairly light, multi-drop, and they do pay quite well. And since you're trying to stay out in the Northeast, most of that stuff is going to be out in the West. Midwest is good for that. The Southeast, not so much, but it does change, and it also depends on weather conditions as we get into different seasons. I don't think you have too many crazy requirements, but I would say that if you do fulfill those requirements, just make sure you stay on the road for a couple weeks. And you take it easy, do what you got to do, but just make sure you're getting all the deliveries on time and know your operating costs so that the amount of effort and time that you're going to put into it is actually going to be, profitable for you. It's not just going to feed us and our company, and it's not just going to, cover your operating costs, but also leave you something in your pocket, something worthwhile and meaningful that's worth it, and that you're not overworking for. I would strongly suggest get in touch with Kevin. This form right here, if you're still on the live right here, the lease owner operator, you just fill this out. Just put Jerome, your email, and your phone number. And we'll get in touch with you. I'll make sure Kevin gets in touch with you on Monday, or you can just give him a call. It's 801-448-6363. You hit option 1, and then you hit option 2, and then you'll go actually directly to Kevin, that one. So hopefully that helps, sir. So definitely we can do that. Adam Buser saying, thinking of joining a snow removal job for the county that I live in, or else a recovery service part-time. Okay. I actually always thought that would be fun, but snow removal, that would be really, really cool. Especially like in Utah, it's a big thing. We do a lot of salting, a lot of snow removal stuff. It's a good business, and then in the summertime they'll do like landscaping and stuff like that. It's actually a really, really good business. So that would be totally doable, and you don't need a different type of MC. You may need different types of insurance coverages. There might be some stipulations based on your MC type, whether it's contract or common authority, but ultimately shouldn't stop you. But one or the other will actually cause an insurance spike. But that you can totally do that. You can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of having your own MC authority. So you could totally do that. Irie says that 63 pounds Spangler Pointer. Oh, okay. Beautiful dog, man. Beautiful. 63 pounder though. Whew. And they're very high energy dogs. You got to actually take them out quite a bit. They got to get their walks. They got to get their time out. They get really ornery if they're sitting in one place for a long time. And Jerome says for dispatch service, my friend, for dispatch service, even easier because you already know your operating costs. You already know what you got to make. You already know what cost you. So absolutely, we can do that for you. That's really, really easy. But with the same mindset, you just got to know that obviously you can limit your market or limit types of freight or the time on the road. It's going to affect your bottom line. But if you're okay with that, we can actually look at the days, the markets, the areas, and like what you're okay with. talk to me, talk to Alex. We can go over this. We can look at some other drivers and come as close as possible to see something like, well, can you do this? Are you comfortable with that? Is that all right? And get a better idea. And at that point, like I said, if it's a good fit, then we'll get that going for you. As far as dispatch, yeah, that's not an issue whatsoever. We have guys. It's just super important that we're honest with each other, because the last thing I want to do is like assume that, oh, great, you want to go out there and you want to stay on the road for 4 weeks and you want to run 48 states and up to 45,000 pounds on the load. Don't care. Send me in the mountains. Most people aren't that way. So if I assume those things and then just run that way, we're going to be both greatly disappointed. So it's really important that we're honest with each other and we know like what it is that you're trying to do and what it's going to take. And I'll be honest with you. If you say something that's not going to work, I'll say, look, man, can you work around that? Like 5 days on the road and back on the weekends is not going to get you there. Can you do 10 days? Can you do a week? Can you do 8 days? Still not great, but still, a lot better than 5 days. And a lot of people will work with you. A lot of people will say, you know what, that's reasonable. Let's make that happen. And then you get into different market areas, you start opening up some other newer markets. The money follows. The money will follow. Anyway, guys, how are you guys doing? We're an hour into the show. Thank you for sticking around. It's definitely a slow-paced show today. Just looking at a few different things about generational trucking companies, running a trucking company, getting your kids involved, and what are some of the things that you could do. Trucking will be around, guys. It doesn't matter if it's going to look like it is today, whether or not there's going to be stick shift or not, or they're going to be maybe some sort of ginormous CVT transmissions running on belts that we would have never thought would be possible with such high torque curves, because you can't do that nowadays. That's why CVTs are in little 4-cylinders and maybe some V6 tiny little trucks and stuff like that. You don't see them on semi trucks, but the technology will evolve. Maybe we're going to have direct drive engines that will run like the old school stuff, going back to steam engines, but they'll retrofit these things, somehow do different approaches that will generate no emissions or low emissions, lots of power, huge amounts of torque. A computer can drive, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, we're still going to need companies and people to be able to run that. It's just the industry is going to change and the approach is going to certainly change. So absolutely. Let's take a look here. You found him as a puppy. He took to the truck right away. No problems. Only one rule. If he needs a walk, he must jump into the front seat and not bark at me from the bunk. I've done recovery rockets. Fun, but winter is brutal. Yeah, so I think Irie's talking to Adam there about the recovery. So you guys may want to get in touch with each other and talk it over, and might be able to get some good information from that, and that might persuade you to look further, or maybe it'll dissuade you and say, you know what, I'm going to stay right where I'm at. And Irie. As you said here, that's awesome, man. He took to the truck right away. You found him as a puppy. That's super cool, man. I love to hear that kind of story. And you've been able to kind of train him with the how to let you know to go on a walk. Has it really slowed you down? Do you find yourself having to stop more frequently, do more breaks, things like that? Vet care on the road, special diets or anything like that? Or is he just good boy? You take him with you, or a girl? I don't know. Well, you said he. Yeah, so it's a boy. So, yeah, how's that affected you on the road, man? Having a dog on the road. In the meantime, I will tell you guys this. Truck dispatch services, Leasing, we've talked about it. Look, we have truck dispatching. If you click on that, today's site is a little slow. Our information's here. This is a little bit outdated, but it kind of gives you an idea. We've certainly booked well over 75,000 loads over the years, 12 years in business, over 100 carriers, that's for sure. Yeah, this says over 11 years in business, but whatnot. Semi-trucks only, guys. We work exclusively with tractor-trailer combinations, not hot shots, not box trucks, not sprinters, vans, not LTL. We focus on what we do best, semi-trucks, pulling, dry vans, reefers, and flatbeds. We can also do step decks. The Leasing guys, definitely get in touch with Kevin, get the information that you need. There's different landing pages. You guys can go to this landing page. It's a little more pretty. More information here. Again, experienced dispatchers, 100% owner-operator fleet. It may or may not be 87%. I may have to update this. It may be higher, may be lower, but it does vary, so you guys can get still a good deal. No hidden fees, straightforward driver settlements, consistent year-round freight, no forced dispatch, fair compensation. Over 15 years in trucking. We have some customer reviews, things like that. What's expected as a lease town owner-operator? How quickly can you get me on the road. Being a medium-sized fleet allows us to move quickly. If you do your part, we'll do ours. We've been able to get drivers on the road in under a week. That's true. I've seen it myself. So you need to have at least a couple years of verifiable OTR experience, a clean driving record, no major moving violations in the past 3 years, no major preventable accidents in the last 5. Not all will qualify. But the idea, oh, and this too. If you don't want to use our dispatch, that's fine. You can book your own loads. That's pretty rare. You can bring your own your plates, your own your own cab card. You can bring your own fuel card. Just share the receipts with us for the IFTA, right? So everything we could do to make it super easy and affordable, we did that. The company's super, the people, everybody's like in the right spot and everything. So this is the video we're doing today. Guys, if you guys ever want to go back to videos, they're all on our channel right here. They're all here. We have offices in Salt Lake, Chicago, a couple of locations in Lincoln. We got a new office that recently just opened up in Lincoln. I'm going to be flying by to take a look. The guys finished with remodeling. All this would be really cool to check that out. I am definitely super, super excited. Very, very cool, guys. So yeah, if you're not making top dollar, if you've been watching our videos, make sure you take a look at that, guys. Take a look at that. A lot of people, they'll cut out their income sources because they look at income sources as an expense, right? They look at truck dispatch services as an additional expense. But the truth is, it can be an additional expense for no reason at all. But is it making your life easier? Is it making your business easier? Is it making you more money? Let's say it makes you exactly the same amount of money, but you have to work less for it. That's still worth it. Or are they putting you in trouble? Are they digging a deeper hole? Are they not performing? That's not a good setup. So, you got to look at it, everything is not equal. Not all dispatchers are made equal. A lot of guys are just really good on, they'll tell you, oh yeah, I've done this, I've done that. But then you start getting booked and they just don't do anything. Some dispatch companies out there will actually put you on a contract. They'll sell you on an idea, blah, blah, blah. They'll tell you stuff. And in the agreement, it says that you actually owe money for 52 weeks. Then you have to pay them to buy yourself out of the agreement to not work with them. So not the best deal. Some companies do that. So Jerome actually, he was mentioning earlier about some of the things that he's looking for. And he says, okay, I don't mind staying out for a couple weeks. But after the 3rd or 4th week, my motivation is downhill. Jerome, I'll be honest, man, you don't even have to stay out for more than a couple weeks. If you're able to do a couple weeks on the road and already be on your way back home, that's fine, man. You can make good money. You just have to make sure, see, where a lot of people run into the trouble is they say, I want to run for 5 days and come back on the weekends. You can't hit the top market. Sometimes they're starting out in a bad market. It's just not enough region to be able to cover and make the money that they need to be able to make. They might cover base operating costs and then nothing stays in their pocket. Another thing that happens is people will say, I only want to run in the Southeast, for example. Well, that's generally not the best idea unless, there's hurricanes or something like that coming out to Florida. So that's not an issue. You don't have to stay for a long period of time. Just be able to, be coachable, work with the guys. They'll get you around and talk to them. If you're not feeling it, say, man, let's call it a short week. Let's get home. Catch up at a different time, that kind of thing. So definitely, he keeps you fit, huh? Irie saying no problems. He keeps me fit. Absolutely. And that was one of the things that they, that was covered in some of these articles and the video that we did last week was that, the challenges were well worth it. Having that dog, cat, whatever, 4-legged animal pet on board made all the difference. Less loneliness. It's something else, that unconditional love. Unconditional, they're always happy to see you. It's like the first time they see you every time. It's wonderful. So I could definitely see that. What type of job requires trucks to move freight from warehouse to supermarkets or retail stores? So that would be mainly, so for example, it'd be like last mile delivery or working with distribution centers, cold storage, manufacturing, product. So for example, like in Utah, we have a turkey plant. They package it up, do all the stuff. You come in pre-cooled, -10, and then you run it about, I think it ends up being about a 100-mile run or something like that. I forget. So there's something like that. And you could be doing those all day, but that's contract work, and obviously picks up closer to Thanksgiving and through Christmas, things like that. So, there is that. Birds, mice, groundhogs, moles, squirrels, etc. It's also good with the ladies. I'm a 3-month out guy. Oh, wow. Yeah, so you're out for 3 months with your dog, helps you out with the ladies, keeps the spirits up. You're out there having a good time, chasing different types of pets and animals, it looks like. Very cool, man. I wish more people would take it to heart and get a pet out there. But a lot of people said, like one of the comments in last week's video was that that a pet has no business being in a truck, and so a lot of people feel that it's actually detrimental to their health. It's not a good thing that animals live a shorter lifespan and they're spending it in the truck, and that it's kind of like self-centered of the human to put a truck in put an animal in a truck. I don't think so. It seems like my friend, the driver that we had, his dog, he ran to the very end. It started becoming a little bit difficult for the dog to go up the stairs and get in there. He wasn't as active, things like that. So they ran a little longer, et cetera, et cetera. Then dogs are developing issues and health concerns, things like that. And eventually, you have to say goodbye to him. So, but he believes that dog had a good life, and he certainly traveled a lot more than many non-truckers, most Americans throughout the country. He saw more of the country than most Americans do. So there's definitely something there. He does steal the blankets and hides his bones under my pillow. That's awesome, man. That is fantastic. I get a feeling that you don't mind, honestly. That doesn't sound like too much of a complaint over there. Thank you for sharing that, sir. Really do appreciate that. Fantastic. Yeah, guys. So that's kind of what we want to talk about. As I mentioned, make sure that you pay your UCRs. For a lot of you guys are going to be due at by the end of June, so you got a couple weeks to go. Less than 3 weeks, or is it a couple weeks in July, on the 7th to the 14th, we're going to see the CBSA blitz. They're going to be pulling you guys over, checking stuff. They're looking for reckless driving, drunk driving, careless driving. So that's going to be the focus of CBSA this year, starting July 7th to the 14th. It is the week. Expect freight rates to increase during that time, guys, because a lot of people will just stay home and they will not drive. We generally do see price increases during that time, during those crackdowns. Adam Buser says, in a day cab, how does money work in the state versus a sleeper? Okay, I like to start small and work my way up. So here's the thing: you got it comes back, Adam. It comes back to your goals. Why are you getting a day cab? Are you going to look because the right piece of equipment for the right market? Nothing wrong with day cabs. Some of the work that we do here in Salt Lake would have actually helped us to have a day cab. It would have been much more maneuverable and a lot easier to work with. But we started OTR and had an OTR truck, so that's where we're using it for that. So that's fine. However, it's one thing to use an OTR truck, a sleeper truck for local work. And going OTR, it's a totally different thing. Trying to get a day cabin and going out trying to run OTR. I've run into plenty of those guys. They claim that they're going to sleep in a truck or they'll get hotel rooms, but the problem is that oftentimes you won't get a load. Sometimes you show up at a place, they won't even load you. You have to keep records and receipts of all your hotel stays. You have to prove all those things, and just financially it becomes too expensive to do it legally and stay at hotel rooms, motel rooms, and everything every time with something like that. So as far as starting small and working your way up, I agree with you. That's a great way to go. But this might be like for the wrong setup. You might be actually thinking you're starting small, but really what you're doing is starting wrong. Unless your goal is to run freight that will be specifically focused locally, where a non-sleeper day cab is going to actually benefit you more. But if you're planning to run OTR, don't count on taking hotel rooms and running that day cab OTR. It's not the case. Definitely get yourself a sleeper if you are looking to go OTR. Would not have a dog in the truck. That sounds like too much of a headache for me. Okay, James West, is opposed to having a dog. Seems like it's too much, too much. And like I said, to each their own. They have found a lot of benefits mentally to your mood, to your well-being. There is a lot of benefit to it. But like James West, if you're the kind of guy who would actually, it'd be more of a headache for you, then I don't see how they would provide you a benefit. You know what I mean? Yeah, James West saying get a sleeper truck. Yeah, man, I would go with a sleeper truck. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to take it easy, take it slow, and that's completely fine. But it's a totally different equipment set. And I don't know enough to know like what you're going to use it for. You know what I mean? Like you probably don't want to have a Volvo sleeper truck with all the aerodynamic kits and then go hauling oil. That's not the right setup, right? Wrong truck. Unless it's like I don't know, what is it, a 880 or something like that, and it's just built for that application. Very different. He says, I have pictures of, I'm thinking Montana, my dog peeing on the picture being in Montana peeing on the entrance signs of most of the Army and Air Force bases around the nation. He owns them all. My man, that is awesome. That is just hilarious. You took pictures. It sounds to me like you guys make a really, really good partners, man. I've only hoteled 3 times in 15 years. There you go, man. And I bet they had some real reasons for having to do that. We had a driver, we did that, before, but it was strictly because we weren't going to make it home on the hours. We didn't really want to sleep in a truck together. He just started, and, we were near, I think it was like Vendover or something like that in Nevada. So we decided to just, call it in, park the truck, go get a hotel room, go do a little gambling, have a couple of drinks, and then hit the bed and come out in the morning. And that worked out real well. But it did take extra time. That load could have been driven there, unloaded, and then we could have come back, considering we were coming back empty all in one day, and slept in our own beds. But, that driver liked to take it easy. And I'm okay with that. But yeah, James West said, get a sleeper truck. That's for Mr. Adam Buser. And luckily I have a short hair dog. Yeah, so that's going to help a lot with getting less hair into the cab, but you're still going to get it. That comes with the territory. That's part of it. Adam is saying, mostly in my state, New Jersey and New York City area, is a sleeper truck okay to drive around New York City and the boroughs? Well, driving any truck through the boroughs, especially through New York City, where allowed, is a headache. Those tight turns. I always say when people come to our dispatch service, or even when they lease on, we have all the permits for leasing, like the HUD permit and all that stuff. You can go to New York, that's fine. But we generally keep drivers who are willing to go to New York, off the islands. We keep them out of the city. We try to keep them out of some of the busier areas and things like that. Unless, of course, you got a driver who's born and raised in the Northeast, spent years in New Jersey, driven in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, in that area, the city, New York, cross the bridges, knows which bridge to take, which entrance, which exit, where not to go. Knows the bridge, the bridge laws and all those issues. Great, you can make a ton of money, and it sounds like you've been in that area for a very, very long time, so that you might actually benefit from that. But ultimately, sleeper truck is going to be is going to be more of a headache to drive around New York City and through the boroughs. Absolutely, it will be. It's going to be a lot easier for you to maneuver and back into docks, et cetera, with all that traffic if you just had a sleeper truck. But are you not shooting yourself in the foot? Like, let's say there's an opportunity comes up and it just pays ridiculous money, or the market turns and they're just paying you ridiculous money. You're a New York carrier, you have your HUD permit, and you got to go deliver something to, Chicago or something like that. You're not going to take your sleeper. You may not even be registered to cross those states. Granted, you might be able to get temporary permits to each one of those states, have them and do that and come back with another load. But with a sleeper, you'll be able to make that decision, jump on it, and make your money. With a day cab, you're just asking for trouble. And the difference in the money is not going to be huge anyway. So, it's more of where are you going with that truck, where it's going to be your primary focus, what's going to be the application. And once you know that, once you know where the money's going to come from, you're going to know the types of loads and the type of truck and trailer that you're going to need to pull that, to make that happen. So I will definitely explore that. 42 degrees below zero, North Dakota. 126 degrees, obviously above zero in Las Vegas. Then I hoteled. Okay, well, that makes sense. I was in Nebraska so not this winter, the winter before that, when we had that crazy winter storm. And I experienced that. I'll never get tired of telling the story. The antifreeze in my car froze and expanded the radiator and cracked the radiator. I was able to drive with a cracked radiator for months without any problem. In fact, by the time I warmed up the car, dug it out, got it rolling, still didn't warm up, picked up a driver from the hotel room in Lincoln, in downtown Lincoln, took him to the office slowly, driving right on ice, brought it home, brought him there, went in the office, left the car running, and then decided, there's no point. The car will start. It's not a diesel truck, or it was just gasoline, so it'll start. So I go turn it off, and I realize that the car still hasn't warmed up. It's been running for like an hour. That's how cold it was. We're talking like 1 to 2 minutes, and you were just freezing. It was just burning your face. If the wind blew, it was like negative 60 or something like that. It was just ridiculously very, very cold. Yeah, right there. You're like 43 below zero. It's just something else. It's a totally different feeling. It burns. It burns from the cold. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Every real driver must do Manhattan Island at least once. There you go, man. Every real driver must do Manhattan Island at least once. You know? So a lot of guys feel that way. A lot of guys feel that if you haven't done some of the tougher parts of the country, you're not a real truck driver. I don't really think that that's really what defines a trucker. We had a driver who had over 20 years of experience, never had an accident, never had a ticket, never nothing. And then the first thing he did was get into an accident with our brand new truck, and then called the cops on himself because he panicked and didn't know what to do. So he was a real driver nonetheless. He did a great job, but that's what happened. You know what I mean? And that guy, I don't think he's ever been to New York, even though he spent 20 years driving. On the other hand, we had a driver who had like 30 plus years of driving, and the first thing that he did on the very first OTR job, he went in to do a pickup, I think out of a cold storage here in Salt Lake or in Idaho or whatnot. He couldn't back it in, so he crashed the trailer into the truck that was sitting to the side of him. Ripped off the fairing, stuff like that, and back and forth, back and forth. There was a driver in the cab sleeping, getting loaded or whatever. They came out, and then our driver asked him if he would please back up the trailer for him into the door. They felt really bad about that, and there was obviously damage. The owners got in touch with me. They said that this is what their driver told them. Just so you're aware as the owner of the company that your driver is, not only crashed into us, but wasn't able to back up the trailer. Now, this is a guy who had like about 30 years of experience. And turned out to be that, he actually never pulled a 53-foot trailer in his life. That's on me. I should have clarified that. I guess I just assumed that after 30 years of trucking, you pulled a 53-foot trailer. But no, his entire career was pulling 28-footers, I think, like FedEx pups, things like that. So, that was my fault. But we learned quickly on the very first load. So we actually had three drivers in a row. Was it three? Yeah, three drivers in a row on the same exact truck, brand new truck, that the first thing they did is crash. One of them lasted a couple of months before he crashed, and the crash was pretty bad, scared him. He left the industry. So, but it was the same truck and everything. And in each case, clean records. Many cases, no accidents, no tickets, no nothing, and then boom, there you go. So it does happen. You never know, man. Nathan Eberly saying, I love dogs, but I don't have the kind of time that the dog deserves, and it's not fair for a dog to be stuck in a truck. See, a lot of people share that sentiment. Definitely, Nathan. Irie says, raised in Chicagoland. Chicago is easy. New York now? That's fun. New York now? That's fun. That's awesome, and that sounds like you really enjoy you enjoy trucking. You enjoy thoroughly the experience of trucking. You enjoy being on a road for 2, 3, 4 months on a road. You enjoy being with your four-legged friend, 63-pound four-legged friend. More power to you, my friend. Be safe out there, and if you ever need any sort of help or anything like that, reach out. We're not, I'm not here just to sell you truck dispatching. If you're doing a good job, awesome. If you have other things that we can help you out with, cool, man. Guys who are doing and working hard and going through this difficult period, if there are things that we can help to keep you in business, to improve your life, we're all about it, even if we don't result in a quote-unquote sale, okay? So just keep that in mind, guys. James West, I've never been over Donner Pass. All right, well, you're missing out. James, missing out. I bet Irie has, and he'll tell you all about it. And by the way, Irie, I'm saying his name wrong. Aaron Fisher, New York City isn't so bad. Philly and Boston are worse. What do you guys think is the worst part? What's the toughest part? I mean, I know some people say entering into Arizona is kind of rough. The roads are just destroyed. Potholes will take your tires whole. Some people will say Boston, nothing worse than Boston. Aaron's saying, Philly and Boston, and New York City's not so bad. On the other hand, we got Irie over here saying that every real driver must do Manhattan Island at least once. So there's a lot of different opinions here. New York City is perfect for box trucks. I do not know about sleepers. Better to stay in outer New York, Connecticut, Eastern PA, Mass, Rhode Island. So that's the thing. So Adam, the Northeast is awesome. You can actually run OTR and stay out for, let's say, a couple weeks, something like that. You can just make a ton of money because small states, crossing borders. Multiple states have special permits that you have to have. You want to get all those, like you have your HUD permit if you are from New York. If not, get an out-of-state HUD permit. You want to get your KYU that's nearby. You want to get your Connecticut because that they do require that. I don't know about Rhode Island. There's not much there, but you are in an area you can actually run it seasonally if you're going to have a reefer. Maine with blueberries, you could take advantage of that. You're going to be in that area. So you could take advantage of the seasonal variations in that market and be able to take advantage of running smaller miles, shorter runs with higher dollar amounts and be able to have a higher net income. So box trucks, yeah, you could do that. A lot of guys say that they have great success with it. We did very well with box trucks, but it wasn't off the spot market. It was, again, out with contracts. And actually, in fact, that wasn't contract. It was just direct freight. So they were a storage facility, and we started working with manufacturers, their customers. We started hauling for other companies, and here and there we would pick up stuff off the freight market, off the spot market, but it was just a little bit, just supplemental stuff that came in. I didn't rely on that, but if it was extra, it was just extra cherry on top gravy, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, if you did stay out of there, I'm not a big fan of Connecticut. Not a big fan of Rhode Island. Not a big fan in terms of freight. Some of those eastern states like New Hampshire, sometimes the Virginias are kind of dead, stuff like that. You got to be careful there. I've had to park plenty of newbies just to free up the truck stops. I've had to park plenty of newbies just to free up the truck spot. Anything around DC, Baltimore sucks. Yeah, so there you go. Especially, yeah, DC is going to be tough. The traffic in that area, expensive diesel, low quality diesel, especially in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I don't have any chemical proof of that. I'm sure it's out there, but when it's consistent. You fill up into some of those areas, that diesel gets you, just you run out of it like water. So that's the case. So definitely thank you guys for sticking around. I think we'll probably call it a day. Just another reminder that, AFT Dispatch, A2C Logistics, lots of good stuff here on our, did that wrong. There we go. On our website, different stories. I'll be putting up some new stories. I've been kind of lackadaisical about putting these things up, but there's a lot of good information. You can even get it right on our homepage right here, so you don't have to go to the blog. They'll just load like this. And going further back, you would actually find some of the more interesting articles. They may not be as pretty with the pictures and all the stuff, but a lot of the information is very actually useful. I even show you guys on one of the articles here on how to, well, that looks like that doesn't work, on how to actually book your own loads. Oh, there you go. On how you can go out there and not work with a dispatch company and do that. The shocking truth about owner-operator truck driver life. There's a lot of statistics in there. There's a lot of material. There's a lot of stuff. Here's one. This is a popular article that people see searching quite a bit. Can truckers carry guns? All right. People want to know, can truckers carry guns? The answer is that is in general, truckers are not permitted to carry guns in their vehicles unless they have a valid permit or license in a jurisdiction. But there's a lot more to it, and it's not legal advice. Truth about starting a trucking company. This one I did on purpose. Corny pictures, awesome service. So how the truck dispatchers can help you out. And there's more of that. There's a very long form article. It'll take you a good while on how to book loads. So this one actually, the top 5 truckers explained. So it gives you an idea. Say top 5, but there's 6 of them on there. There's a bonus guy. We've talked about, looking at actual numbers of truck drivers and whether or not this is a good time to make money. We've looked, this will explain IFTA, A to Z, everything about IFTA. And there's more stuff. Like I'm looking for the article. It was around this time when I published it, about how to book your own freight. Right here, there it is. How to get loads of trucks, a guide for new owner operators. So I even explained here, we're an established truck dispatch service. I was dispatching trucks over a decade ago myself. Needless to say, we've been around. Yet I'm going to give you a few different ways to find these these elusive truckloads so you can make it through your first year. The first years are brand new carriers, your toughest, roughest, and most expensive year. The good news is there are generally telltale signs of positive change happening in different stages, and we go through different stages. I wrote this, and why I'll give you this for free. Been doing this forever. My dispatchers are very experienced as well. My truck dispatchers, and I know difficulties you will face and all the roadblocks in your way. If you manage to figure it all out, do things correctly, and become profitable in 90 days, then keep doing what you're doing. You don't need our services right now. Keep learning and earning. If you run into trouble, have a question, or need some advice, you can call me or my assistant, and we're here to help where we can. On the other hand, if you're running into trouble in your first 90 days in business, being rejected by freight brokers, securing cheap freight, having to deadhead a lot, and generally not doing so good, then give us a call. All you have to do is actually click this. Thing will pop up. You can do it, and you can actually call on your phone. It'll go to your phone screen. You don't have to dial the number. Just tap that. It'll call us, and we'll be able to do that. Better do it on a Monday to Friday, because even if you call me now, I won't pick up the phone. Promise. There's no shame in asking for help, guys. I started in the trucking industry over a decade ago with zero knowledge. Now that I'm able to give back, and it feels great. We can help you get rolling through some of the toughest times in your business, especially in today's market conditions in 2024. That's why I'm willing to share this with you. If this helps you and you do well, then I'm happy for you, and you should keep going while remaining coachable and teachable. If you find that you're just not cutting it and negotiating for better rates, or dealing with packets, or maybe it's all in the billing and invoicing, get in touch with us, because we can handle all of that at no extra charge. So there you have it, folks. It will be hard your first year, but help is available. So it's always up to you how you choose to utilize your available resources. In this article, we're talking about like using load boards, working with freight brokers, joining dispatch services, networking with shippers, bidding on government contracts, advertising your services both online and offline. And then we go into each one of these with examples, with imagery, and ways for you to get in touch with us. We even talk about bidding on government contracts here, explanations. This is going to give you a lot of stuff, like a lot of you guys don't know about RFPs, like the request for a proposal, things like that. You're putting in bids. And how to advertise, and like here's a pro tip to test your opt-in forms. When I was writing this, that kind of gave me an idea. We ran many advertising campaigns over the years, primarily focusing on video ads on YouTube and text ads using the Google Ads platform. Unfortunately, the opt-in forms used to gather leads didn't always work, and this wasn't always apparent. The problem was multifaceted, but was primarily caused by bad programming and caching systems. This cost us thousands of dollars, months of lost conversions, a potentially tarnished reputation, as well as a huge amount of stress and aggravation. Test, and test some more. This is the only solution. Test different configurations at different times, under different circumstances, and with different variables. Once you truly feel everything is working as intended, test some more. So guys, as you can see, that's the concept. These articles, again, look, and I put some customer testimonials, and these are real. Like these are from, you can go on our Google reviews page, and it's all there. You can click join. They'll take you to this page. This is the truck dispatch page. No automation, live truck dispatchers, real people, real experience, blah, blah, blah. You get it. So that's our service. And I want to get back to the comments real quick before we come off, because I could see in the corner of my eye, there was a ton of comments. Let's take a look what we got. Is New England states more for seasonal loads? It's not so much that. It depends on equipment also. Like they're going to always have construction, right, in New England. So what if you have, that's not necessarily, it's seasonal, more in the summer, less in the winter. Depends on the market. Thank you so much, James West. Good show. I really appreciate it, sir. But, it's not so much that. Sometimes it can be different commodities. Like, for example, with Connecticut requiring permits, guess what? Freight going in and out of Connecticut pays more now. HUT. Permits in New York City, it pays more. And in New York, what I like is like upstate New York has a lot of really good manufacturing and different types of like food production, dairies, and chicken plants and meat processing plants and yogurt for Dana and stuff like that. So you can get good money going in there, and you can also take some really good stuff and come out to like Midwest, make some money, come out all the way west, take some time off, rinse and repeat. So it is doable. I like New York for that. But a lot of people confuse and conflate New York with New York City, and then so they're just like shaking in their boots and they want to go, and they say no, which also increases rates for everybody else. So you guys can take advantage of that. IR and MT says goodbye. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it, man. I hope you stop by in the next few shows as we go. Charlotte, North Carolina has tight roads. If it says no trucks, don't go. Either low electrical lines or bridges and or on turnarounds. When parking in a snow-covered lot, roll back and forth several times before parking. Very, very good advice. My brother was taught that by his experienced partner that he drove with when working with FedEx. Saved him a ton of time. He still does it to this day. Very good advice. And if possible, roll up on high spots. IRRINMT, sir. One of these days, when you find the time, the ability, and the interest, please help us out. Give us a call, get live. I can hear it. I can see it in your comments that you know a lot of stuff. Your knowledge, if you're willing to put it out there, would certainly help a lot of these guys. And then remember, people are watching and commenting and being a part of this live stream. A ton of people end up watching the videos later. You're going to help so many people by sharing the wealth of knowledge and information that you have out there. And they're going to be able to ask you specific questions that I may not be able to answer or don't have the knowledge or the skill set. And it always helps to have you guys call in so we can always get that taken care of. Maybe we can do it next week. It would be super, super cool. So if you get the free time, go ahead and give us a call. Also, let the brakes cool when setting so they don't lock up in the cold. Very good advice. Adam was saying, how about seasonal loads, autumn, winter, and spring and summer times? Absolutely. Seasonal loads is a big deal, especially if you have, for example, a dry van. I always tell guys, vent your dry van so that you can take advantage in the springtime and in the fall time. The cost of venting it is very minimal, but you will always, like your very first vented van exclusive load will cover the cost of venting that trailer. Everything else is gravy. So there's definitely load change by the season. Absolutely. There is, especially when you're looking at reefer. Like as soon as produce season picks up in California, you can even see it on a map. It just lights up because there's a lot more stuff coming out of there. So knowing your produce, knowing what type of produce and how well things are going. And there's a lot of data that you can actually get because there are governmental bodies in the agriculture sector that will actually produce quarterly and monthly reports as well as performance statements for what they're expecting. Like Florida talks about different types of oranges and the types of what they're expecting to get this year. So one of the things that they knew this year was that they were going to get more oranges than last year. However, there were going to be smaller oranges. So you know what I mean? So knowing that information was going to actually benefit you, but a lot of people don't check on that or they don't consider those things. But the more knowledge you have, the more information you have, the more good info sources, reputable sources that you can find will only benefit you because, believe me, a lot of people don't pay attention to that stuff. Look at the LMI, the Logistics Managers Index. I'm not saying read the whole thing, but believe me, it is one of those things where it will definitely benefit you a huge amount of in your business. So absolutely. Well, good stuff, guys. Irie, thank you so much for all your help, man, today. That was really cool. I hope you should see your name in the future next week and some of the next videos in the comments. Hope to hear from you. Hopefully we can get you live on the show next week. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm going to switch over and call it a day. And I hope you guys have a fantastic end of week, weekend, next week. Stay safe, make your money. If you guys ever need help, give us a call. 801-448-6363. You can also text that number or go to our website at aftdispatch.com. That is currently on your screen. So appreciate your time, guys, and I'm out. See you guys. Maybe I ought to play some music for you guys. Just like an outro. Let's see. Will be one you guys have heard, but since the names change and people, see if we can find something fun. How's this? Happy Father's Day, guys, for the last time in the show. Been saying it throughout the show. Thank you for the reminder, Adam. Happy Father's Day, everybody. I actually forgot to click go live on Instagram, so unfortunately everybody on Instagram didn't get to watch the video. But thanks for everyone for stopping by. Really cool group. You guys are awesome every week. Sorry I was late. It's kind of a more chill show today. We'll have a much better show next week. I'll come in better prepared. If you guys have any topics you'd like to cover, please get in touch with us. Send us on our page, contact page, or text it over, or just give us a call, or shoot us an email, leave a comment. Millions of ways to get in touch, and it always helps. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Take care.